What is up, guys? Kyle here, and today we're going to talk about something that happened on Raw this week. So, what happened on Raw was that the Vision turned on Seth Rollins. So basically, Braun Breaker was in the corner, and then out of nowhere, he speared Seth Rollins. So, that's going to be what this video is about. I'm going to give my thoughts on it in the multitude of different reasons or thoughts for why this could have happened. So, let's hop right into it. So, I remember I hadn't known what time Raw was going to be on because it's different now that, because they were recording this in Perth, Australia, so, the time zones are different or whatever. But, so I didn't know when it was on. I remember, on Monday morning, yeah, it was, literally probably yesterday, time we're recording this, I woke up and I saw a post on my feed that said the Vision turns on Seth Rollins. I honestly thought it was AI because, you know what I mean? You've seen those posts now from Sora where, they'll bring back, JFK and he'll be, the WWE champion or Martin Luther King or right, where they're messing with AI, right? So I was thinking at first it was AI. I mean, I guess maybe this could go to show, how good it's gotten that, it could trick somebody like me. So what I did was, I actually was kind of curious. I'm like, wait a minute, so did this Vision heel turn actually happen? Or whatever this was? Did they actually betray Seth Rollins? So what I did was, I watched Raw, and it's been probably about a month or two since I've watched Raw. The show that I usually watch on WWE now is SmackDown because it's you know what I mean, though? It's it's on a Friday night, and usually, I can, fit it in, especially now it's under 2 hours. Because I remember when it was 3 hours, it was it's by the time you would finish it, it'd be 11 o'clock and you'd be fucking half asleep, you know what I mean? So the fact that now the most of the shows are under 2 hours, well, Raw is 2.5 hours, and I remember this Raw episode. I'm not going to talk about much about the Raw episode. I think everything besides the Vision just didn't mean much. I mean, there was I liked the AJ Styles moment that was on there and the LA Knight segment. But as a whole, I don't really care about that as much as this Vision heel turn or whatever we would classify this as. So I remember to start the show, they'll do this sometimes, or in most cases, it starts with a promo, right? And what it was it was basically a promo where Seth Rollins was glazing the Vision. He was oh, thank you guys, and then he actually kissed Paul Heyman per the fans' request. So I guess Seth Rollins gave it to what the fans wanted. I thought that moment was weird. I mean, maybe it was because it was a dude kissing another dude, and it's I don't know. I guess it's whatever. But I was thinking wait a minute. So does the heel turn happen in this part of the show? Because I saw at one point Paul Heyman was looking at Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker, and I was oh, it's got to happen here, right? Nope, it doesn't happen there. Then they had another segment, probably near the end of the show, where once again Seth was glazing them because he was basically oh, the next 6 months, so here's what he said. The past 6 months have been great. The next 6 months are going to be greater. The next 6 months are going to be right. He basically was saying oh yeah, these next 6 months, these next few months are going to be great for us. And I don't know too much about factions or whatever turning on each other. I don't really pay attention to this stuff, so I don't really know when you're going to see a faction breakup or whatever, but I could tell, even with my limited knowledge of this stuff, that something was going to happen. Even though I probably already knew it was, but you could tell without even knowing what was going to happen that something was going down tonight. So then we get into the main event, where it was LA Knight versus CM Punk versus Jey Uso. Typical, Raw main event match. But this one's for the number one contender for Seth Rollins' World Heavyweight title belt. So what happened was CM Punk won it in the end. LA Knight got thrown into the steel steps, which eliminated him from the match. Everyone knows on this channel that was the guy that I would have wanted to win the match. And CM Punk wins it. So then after that, I'm okay, so this heel turn thing, is it going to happen now? Yep, I was right. Seth Rollins comes out, and then they lay out CM Punk, do the tsunami and stuff like that. Like basically like the routine at this point. Like, oh yeah, Braun Breaker spear him, spear LA Knight on the outside of the ring, then line him up for tsunami. It's like, you know the spiel, right? It's like if you've been watching Raw for this amount of time since the faction's been around. So then what the interesting thing was that Seth Rollins had a little promo, and then after that, Braun Breaker went into the corner. We didn't know what he was doing. We didn't know what they were feeling. And then out of nowhere, boom, Braun Breaker spears Seth Rollins. Then Braun Breaker talks to Bronson Reed. He's like, you're either with me or you're not, right? So Bronson Reed teams up with Braun Breaker, and Braun Breaker lines up the tsunami for he's gonna get for Seth Rollins. And then Paul Heyman is then, like, right now through all of this, too. Paul Heyman's shocked by this. Like, right, when Braun Breaker first speared Seth Rollins, he was shocked by it. And I was like, this can't be real. Like, because I had a feeling that Paul Heyman was part of this for some reason. But I guess he wasn't. But it doesn't matter because he decided to stick with Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. Now, the part where he was like, you're either with me or you're not, does this mean now that Bronson Reed and Paul Heyman are not part of this faction? Does this mean that the faction is disbanded? I don't know exactly. That's another thing that I thought up right here, So, and then the Raw goes into the credits, and you see the dreaded, produced by Lee Fitting and Paul Levesque, you know what I mean? And then, now we're here. So, the reason why, it's just interesting, because, like, I haven't been disinterested to watch something on Raw in quite a while, and I didn't really like the faction. It didn't really feel like, because the thing is that, right, so they formed the faction after WrestleMania. We obviously know that there was the heel turn segment at WrestleMania 41 where Paul Heyman sided with Seth Rollins. Looking back on it now, I mean, the moment itself wasn't that bad. The match wasn't good, but I think the moment was good for what it was. But the reason why I think it ultimately failed is because, right, I mean, I get, like, bringing in Braun Breaker, but it's like, I mean, you can't realistically tell me that, it's like, come on, we all know that Braun Breaker would eat Seth Rollins alive, even though Seth Rollins is a good wrestler in the ring. It doesn't matter, because Braun Breaker is just a bigger dude. It's like, it's funny, it's like, you got this smaller guy here, Seth Rollins. I mean, you could say that they teamed up with him because they wanted his knowledge of the wrestling business, right? Because, I think Bronson Reed's like mid-30s, but Braun Breaker's the one that they really got to worry on, because Braun Breaker's like mid-20s, so it's like this is the guy that's going to really want to, soak up this knowledge. I'm not saying that Bronson Reed wouldn't want to, but, more so Braun Breaker, right? So I think that's the reason why they teamed up with Seth Rollins, is to soak up knowledge, because Seth Rollins has been in WWE for, if we include his time in NXT, it's been 15 years. But main roster-wise, it's been about 13 years, because he started out in the Shield, broke up with them in 2014, won the WWE Championship about 10 years ago. So this is somebody that's been in the WWE for a while, even though I don't think he's done that much since his first WWE Championship run to really, like, cement himself as, like, this. Like, I don't even think he's better than Roman Reigns, even though, like, I don't think most people would say that, but considering how much main event opportunities that Seth Rollins has gotten, you would think he'd be on the level of Roman Reigns, but he just isn't. And I've always felt that way. Now we're going to get back to why did I not like the faction, and the reason why I didn't is because, if you think about it realistically, it's like, so when Batista first came into WWE, he basically was like a lackey to Devon Dudley, and obviously that's not like what his true potential is. Like, obviously this is somebody, we're talking Batista here, that would go on to win multiple WWE titles, world titles at that. So I think because here's the thing, it's like, right, when Braun Breaker joins the Vision, when Bronson Reed joined the Vision, I think Bronson Reed could have or, need to benefit from this faction more, because Bronson Reed has never won a singles title, or I don't think he's ever won a title, period. He's just a big guy, right? Meanwhile, Braun Breaker, he's been NXT champion. He's been through the NXT system and dominated it. Has won the Intercontinental title twice. Naturally, the next step is you're in the main event picture. But what they did was they stuck him in this faction where, he is main eventing every Raw episode. He has been since his faction's been around, but he's not in the main event matches. I think the next step for him would have been you put him in the main event picture. This would have been the time to give him the big push. But you see what I mean, though, there with the comparison to Batista, it's like they gave him something that Batista would do to start out his career. Meanwhile, Braun Breaker has already been kind of established as somebody that is in WWE, has won a couple championships, and then you're going to bump him down to something that Batista had to do to start out. You know what I mean, though? It doesn't make much sense for Braun Breaker's career trajectory. It's it would have made a lot more. It makes a lot more sense for Bronson Reed's career, but it doesn't make that much sense for Braun Breaker's career. And the one thing I think they should have did with this faction, because they would main event almost every Raw from the time they formed to. At this point we're talking here, they've main evented all of these Raws and some of the SmackDown episodes too. What they should have did was at some point, because the tag team titles this is something else that I could talk about too, where the tag team titles are completely meaningless. They're held by two teams that don't do anything with them. They hardly show up on the Raws. You almost forget that those titles even exist. So I think the thing that they could have did, and because here's the thing, right? Right. When the Bloodline was the most dominant faction in WWE, the Usos had the tag titles. When the Shield was the most dominant faction in WWE, they had the tag titles. So why didn't Division get the tag titles? Right. If Division is something that we're supposed to take seriously, then shouldn't they all have titles? I don't know. I always just thought that was weird. Why didn't you have Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed? Did I say Bronson Reed? Oh boy. Why wouldn't you have Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed win the tag titles, instead of what they went with instead was having the Judgment Day win them and do nothing with them? I just don't get, that's one of the, flaws of Triple H's booking. He seems to not understand how to book the tag titles. But anyways, now, what do we think is going to happen from here? And there are multiple different options that I think could happen. And the first one involves, well, maybe this doesn't work. Because here's the thing. They have tried something like this before. So, at Saturday Night's main event, the most recent one, Seth Rollins had a match with LA Knight. Seth Rollins, this dude was doing a moonsault. This dude's almost 40 and he's doing moonsaults. And he's wondering why he's getting injured and shit, right? So, he got a fake injury in that match at Saturday Night's main event. Comes back at SummerSlam to cash in, proving that the injury was fake. So, could this be a work to trick CM Punk? Because the thing is that if we're going into the theory that he's injured or whatever, right? It's because the thing is that when you get a tsunami, it's usually implicated that you're injured. So does this mean now that Seth Rollins is injured? Does this mean now that we're gonna have to do a tournament? We're gonna have to find a new champion. We're gonna have to do it that way, right? What I'm thinking is they have some sort of tournament or some sort of contenders match. If this is a scenario that Seth Rollins got injured from the tsunami, right? They have that match, right? CM Punk is qualified now. He's gonna face whoever, who, whether it's Seth Rollins, if he can do it, or right? He is guaranteed a match for the World Heavyweight title at this point. So, what if they bring in somebody what if it's LA Knight to win the title, or Gunther? Right, we haven't talked about that guy in a while. What if a returning Gunther comes back, gets that opportunity to win the vacant World Heavyweight title, and then while both of them are laid out, because we know at SummerSlam they had a grueling match, right? This is what I'm theorizing here that we could see a repeat of SummerSlam where Seth Rollins comes out, and then like maybe at some point in the match, like both of them start ganging up on Seth Rollins, and then the Vision faction, the other two, Braun Breaker and Braun 3, come out, proving that it was all work. Because the thing is that CM Punk is thinking here, he's probably thinking that, or at least both of them, they're probably both thinking that, okay, the Vision turned on Seth Rollins, so then they would be caught off guard by them helping Seth Rollins win, so then proving it to be a work. That could be a possibility too. The other thing I heard was that Seth Rollins is injured, and apparently, like, he tore his shoulder, and I get it, I watched the highlights from the Crown Jewel match. I mean, the dude was doing a coast-to-coast. I mean, it looked like he landed badly on like, one of those spots, so he could be injured, and if that's the case, they're going to have to do, probably, scenario 1, because there's no way that if his shoulder is injured, he's probably going to be out for a little bit. I mean, if they keep it on him for like 2 or 3 months and he's injured, it's like, that just wouldn't be a good move. So if that's the case, they're going to have to drop the title from him and then, do scenario 1, like that scenario where you get somebody to get into the qualifying match to fill for the vacant title. Then something else I thought was, well, what if they took out Seth Rollins to bring in someone else? Like, what if they took out Seth Rollins to bring in, like, Austin Theory or Brock Lesnar? Right. This is interesting now. Like, I think this is now where, like, the scenarios are going to get interesting. Now, Austin Theory joining right now in the state that his career is in would not be interesting. But if we took Austin Theory 2-3 years ago, it would have been interesting. Now, the person that would be really interesting to see if they join this faction would be Brock Lesnar. So, presumably, because we know that Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar, I guess, are still on good terms despite all the, like bloodline stuff, the beef and all that, right? So, despite all that, Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman are still on good terms. So, I was thinking, it's like, well, would Brock Lesnar, if he joined the group, would he become the leader like Seth Rollins is right now? So, would he replace Seth Rollins? And I'm going to take a guess and say that he does, because not only is he the oldest of the group, but he's naturally the leader because he's the biggest, he's the oldest, right? And I thought about it, I'm like, because the thing is, Brock Lesnar's never really needed a faction to get over, right? It's like he always got over just because it's Brock Lesnar, dude. Like, of course he's going to get over, right? So, this could be an interesting thing here if they decide to make him the leader of this faction here. And I think that they would get more, we're talking Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed here, would get way more of a rub from Brock Lesnar than Seth Rollins would. I mean, I think, because here's the thing, it's right, Seth Rollins is not the superstar that Brock Lesnar is. It's going to be controversial. Some people are like, oh, dude, well, how dare you say he's not? But just hear me out, guys. It's like, Brock Lesnar is like 2 times greater than Seth Rollins, essentially, right? He can do more moves. He's bigger. He's older, right? So, if you're thinking about, like, if you're Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed, it's like, well, wouldn't you want to have a better leader, right? So you can get in better situations, have more opportunities, and on top of that, you get somebody like Brock Lesnar. I mean, if we're not counting kayfabe here, like outside of kayfabe, it's like you're working with somebody that has been in the NFL, UFC, WWE, has had now 2 different stints in WWE, right? So it's like you have a lot more combat experience. So, therefore, you can win more matches and then win more titles, if we're not thinking about kayfabe here. So, them going with Brock Lesnar is a no-brainer. And especially if we consider point number 4 here that I'm about to make. And point number 4 is they broke up the group because the fans didn't like it or the ratings were bad. And, with this one, I mean, it could be true. Like, I think, because you got to look at the ratings for Raw. It's like, I mean, last week, they were getting, 2.3 million globally. It's like, wait a minute. So, Raw, the first episode on January 6th, earned 6 million views globally. Now we're at 2.3. So, you're telling me we've already seen a more than 50% drop-off in viewership within a year. It's like, so how did this happen? And let me tell you something. A majority of the time that this group was main eventing Raw, right, so for majority of this period that, this vision was around, a majority of the time it was during this Raw and Netflix era here. So it's like, the writing team could have seen the writing on the wall, ironically, right? And then been like, well, why should we keep putting up with this team where Seth Rollins, the, mid-card guy, probably at best, is leading it, right? It's like, didn't we learn our lesson from 2019 here? You know what I mean? So I could see that happening, but the reason why I don't think it's the case is because it's like, why would you just break up? I mean, listen, the ratings are already in the shitter, so why would we break up something now, right? If we do what I said would happen in scenario 3, where they bring in like Brock Lesnar or Austin Theory or, somebody else, right? But if it's Brock Lesnar, then I could see them being like, oh, okay, so, maybe they think that, bringing in Brock Lesnar would get more people to watch Raw. And, honestly, it probably would, if we got, Brock Lesnar being a full-time guy now would be kind of crazy. I mean, the dude doesn't have to do this. I mean, he's already good enough, right? But if he came even just like a month or like would appear on Raw once a month in this group, I think that would do a lot for the ratings. And anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this, at this point, decently long video here. I hope you guys enjoyed me rambling, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. And as always, remember, we the ones.